Modular programming. The modular nature of Python programming incorporates the complex tasks be divided into small modules that seamlessly interact with each other. Modules make both development and debugging easier, and this can simply be incorporated to enable the use of various functions. As I already mentioned that Python comes with thousands of packages and modules to perform various tasks. Since this is an introductory text of our scientific computation, we will go through modules, so some basic modules of basic requirement. It is important to note that whereas modern day personal computers offer large memories, microcomputers like Raspberry Pi has limited memories. Hence, a judicious use of these memory resources is highly recommended. Since all modules occupy some memory, they should be installed on a need-to basis. Also, they should be imported in the program as and when required. Python allows selective import of specific functions to optimize memory usage. It is considered as a good practice to write programs that avoid wasteful use of resources. Mentioning the use of each module is beyond the scope. Modules will be introduced in a later section. A comparison between a C code and Python code has been shown here. As you can see, please take a look over this code for a few minutes. In the case of compiled languages, a compiler translates the human-readable code into machine-readable code assembly language. Machine-readable code is called object code, which is given by object file. This object file can be run directly in machines. As shown here, the C code is defined as follows and stored in a file name, for example, hello world program. The compilation of this code on a Unix-like machine or a GCC-like machine or a Windows platform, as you are all aware about this. You have gone through in the previous semester about how to write about execution of this code. And now this is not the case with Python. Being an interpreted language, it employs an interpreter that interprets the code into intermediate code, then to machine code. An interpreter reads the source text of a program, analyzes it, and executes it one line at a time. This process is slow since interpreter spends a lot of time analyzing string of characters to figure out what they mean. For example, which is shown here that to type hello world as in a C program, Python requires only 2 lines that print hello world and the output will give you hello world program. Actually, it is only 1 line of code. In just 1 line, an interpreter scans the word print, looks for what it means. In the Python interpreter, it means to print a particular device. A device can be computer terminal, printer, plotter, and so forth. By default, it computes terminal. The printer command also demands arguments that are scanned in the second step, such as string, hello world. A string in Python is enclosed in a single inverted or multiple inverted comma. Hence, to compute interpretation of the line is to print the string hello world on a computer terminal. When a program composes hundreds and thousands of lines of compilation process will yield a faster result because the object code needs to be only compiled once and then run directly on a microprocessor. An interpreter code will check the interpretation each time it needs to be processed. On the other hand, even single syntax error will not let the compilation process complete, resulting in compilation error. Conversely, a Python interpreter will interpret the Python code up to the point where any kind of error is encountered. So despite its being inherently slow, Python has become favorite among scientists and engineers for being extremely simple, intuitive, powerful, due to its rich library of modules for various computational tasks. Moving further, Anaconda IDE. open an Anaconda if you have installed Anaconda platform on it, you can see this type of image over it. Let me open Anaconda over. Just a minute. Anaconda ID. It will show this type of image. Sorry, it will take time for opening an Anaconda ID platform. Once you open Anaconda Navigator, you can go through different Python features. For example, you can select Spider platform as shown here on this task, on this dashboard. The IDE platform, this IDE represents an Python command line interpreter, a text editor with advanced feature like syntax completion, keyword highlighting, and file browser. So Anaconda provides all this and many more features in a simple and intuitive way. So it is the graphical installer which provides at its website. You can which has already been, you can download it online. The screen which I am showing is related to Spider IDE. The Spider IDE is editor for Python. You can first let us see what this editor provides. Now the screen here where you can see this code which I am highlighting right now is nothing but the editor portion. On the editor portion, you can write a multiple line program here and execute it by clicking the play button or clicking the run option in the menu bar. The next screen which I am showing you here is the console, IPython console. If you can see my cursor, I am highlighting this portion. This window is IPython console. Here you can write Python expression line to line and execute it line by line. And the third screen here, again highlighted over the usage part, this screen here is nothing but the variable explorer or file explorer or help. The variable explorer will show you the variables that has been explored, present the details it has been created during the sessions, the properties, that is name, type, size, and values. The file explorer button which is presented here, you can see the file explorer. It presents the details of all files created during a session and their properties like what is the name of this file size, kind and date modified or not, and the help section. As you know, what help stands for, it is a tool that presents useful documentation on any topic required by a developer. Okay, now console shortcut, a different type of applications that is available. It provides you console shortcut, a GlueNS platform, JupyterLab and Jupyter Notebook platform. Similarly, PowerShell shortcut which is not required. Qt console, the Spider console which you have already seen. The Orange 3 is for data visualization. RStudio is for statistical analysis of data, and VS Code, that is Visual Basics support code. These are all the code editors that is available over Anaconda Navigator. So we have seen Spider launching. We have launched Spider now. The notebook platform, which will be, if you have gone through this Google Colab session, you can see that the platform is similar to Jupyter Notebook platform. And about Python console, this Qt console, we will be seeing this Qt console will be exploring our code over this Qt console in this session. So let's move further in the session. Let's move again to this PowerPoint slideshow. Okay. So Python as a calculator. Let me show you some code on our Qt console for Python, and we can go through the details later on. So how this work actually. Okay, this is the Jupyter console, means IPython console, which I have opened it. Now let's code it here over this platform. For example, our first line here in this, as I have seen, if you know what is calculator means, that's 2 plus 4, it will give you an answer of 6. Just then 2 dot plus 4 will give you an answer in floating digit. Similarly, 2.0 plus 4 point will also give you an answer of 6. See, the Python enhances the way I am showing you, why I am showing you this various type of code is to show that Python takes it inbuilt. Means even if it is you have not written 0, Python by default take as a decimal point and show you answer in interpreted form, in its original form. Secondly, let's move to the data type. If you write int2, it will just show you this if you are on the screen int2, and then it will give you an output. Similarly, integer of 2.0, which is a floating digit number, it will give an output. If you write float and 2, the output will be in a float form. This is nothing but data type conversion. Similarly, if I go for float 2.0, and it will give me a float output. That's the output. So this is just a simple calculator, how we can use Python as calculator. Nothing much more in this. I hope the screen is visible to you. I have zoomed the screen. You can, if not, just let me know in this comment section so I can make the changes in this code, in this video actually. Hope it is visible to you. So let's move further to our next topic. Modules. I've already given you a short description about modules, what modules do and what is the why it is required. Let me repeat again what does this module is required in this session. As you can see in this slide, I have given you how to use module and how to install a module. But before that, let us just check what is module again, if you have forgotten it. So from where I can begin is okay. Python Multiverse has expanded with thousands of modules and being open source. Most of them are readily available. You can just search online and you can get your required module package for your application. Modules are collections of Python programs for accomplishing a specific task. For example, if we talk about NumPy. NumPy has various facilities for numerical computation. It can be further expanded into SciPy for scientific computation in general purpose. You can use Matplotlib, which is an acronym for Mathematical Plotting Library, which has a rich feature of plotting a variety of publication-ready graphs. You can use Pandas in the library for data analysis, scikit-learn for machine learning, scikit-image for image processing, and SymPy for symbolic computing. So, to use a module, it must be installed in a machine first. By what I am saying, that it must be there in the machine first, you have to install it. Installation includes downloading the file into an appropriate folder or directory, unzipping them, and defining proper path. There is an easier way if you are on Ubuntu or any different platform. If you don't want to download it, you can directly use the pip command shell. As I have shown here, the pip command for Python 3 package name or pip install package name. In order to upgrade the module, you can use the following command: pip install, the name of the package, and upgrade. For Linux version or Ubuntu version, you can use sudo pip3 install package name. In similar way, sudo means you have to just add the word sudo before pip. In order to upgrade also, you can use this underline. If in your installation of Python if pip is not available, then you can use the command sudo apt-get install python 3-pip. Anaconda IDE comes with pre-installed with all these modules, so you don't require this to install a specific modules. But many of the modules that are very specific modules which are not available, for example animations modules, blender modules, or R packages collection, means for combination of two different languages, you have to download it, you have to install it separately. So in short, I want to say that before installing any module, you have to check whether pip is there or not. If pip is not there, then you have to go for the pip command. So let's check which are the basic Python module that is required for us in this subject. NumPy is available, SciPy is important for us, Symbolic Python is also important, and Matplotlib is also important. These four modules are basic requirement in our subject. Beside this, there are other modules also as per the field of studies. For example, if you want a scientific computation, as I have already informed you, SciPy, NumPy, and Symbolic Python packages are required. For statistical analysis, Pandas is required. If you want to go for networking, NetworkX module is available. Cryptography require PyOpenSSL. For game development, Pygame. For graphic user interface, you can select PyQt. For machine learning process, scikit-learn and TensorFlow are very much required. You can also select PyTorch. For image processing, scikit-image is also important. You can also go for scikit-image. Plotting requires Matplotlib module, which is mathematical plotting library. Database means for database applications, SQL Alchemy is required. For HTML and XML parsing, Beautiful Soup is required. It is for website development. For natural language processing, NLTK module is required. And for testing, Nose module is required. These are just the modules, Python modules, which are required as per the field of study. We are not going to use all these modules, but we will be using scientific computation module, graphical, image processing, plotting, and database development module in our subject. Mainly we will be using scientific computation because most of this processes most of this code are compatible with these modules, and plotting module, that is Matplotlib. Once again, I would like to inform you that all these modules has been available with Python Anaconda IDE. If not available, you can download it easily from via internet using the pip command. So moving further, how to use a module? Okay, to use a particular module and its functionality, first you have to import it inside the workspace using the command prompt. For example, import math. We will see most of this in our session when we start programming in detail. For example, import math, import math. The procedure is to use them as same as follows. The command import the module name math and all its objects are now available for usage. The procedure to use them is as follows. Means I have shown different commands for using a module. The first and the simplest command to use a module is import math command. When you write this command, you have to mention the name of the module before using any function defined within itself. For example, if we wish to use the function square root, we need to write math.sqrt in bracket 2. It will give you the output. The next command, for example, from math, import star. Here the star asterisk mark, this asterisk mark signifies everything in the language of regular expression. Hence, the statement means that we can use all the functions without the need to write the name of the module separated with a dot operator before the name of the functions. This means you have to only write sqrt in bracket 2 and then your answer, the square root 2, will be shown. So from math import sqrt, this function, this statement, import the square root function only. Using this style of Python programming is essential only when you have a limited memory usage and energy conscious, because you don't need to import unnecessary object. You still need to write the name module separated with a comma means dot operator before the name of the function. The more details regarding these operators will be conducted in the lecture related to operator during that session during the operator. Now, regarding our practical session, we are going to run some code, some basic line-to-line interpretation code over IPython console. The details I have already been mentioned you, but why we are using IPython console is that because it provides us a line-to-line execution, which is easily understandable. You can also practice this on Colab laboratory or any other environment which is as per your convenience. In the previous we have already seen that it shows in bracket 1. Now this signifies that it is currently running and asking the user for its first input. When you type an input and execute the expression by pressing enter key, you will obtain the output and it will return out 1, signifies the output, the first Python expression. So if you have saved the file of this console, you can know that for which line and which output is there. Besides, IPython shall also support Unix and Linux system commands. For example, pwd, cd, rm, and means for printing working directory, you can you can change the directory name, and you can remove directory from using rm command. These are all the Unix system commands that can be operated. Besides, IPython shell also provides a set of magical functions. What are magical functions are been shown when I will running the code. So there are two type of magics available in Python. One is line oriented and another one is cell oriented. Line oriented magics are prefixed with a percentage character and work much like OS command line calls. They get an argument, the rest of the line where arguments are passed with parentheses and quotes, and it will show you the output. Cell magics are prefixed with double percentage sign, and they are functions that get an argument not only for the rest of the line but also the line below it in a separate argument. Some of the few magic functions can be shown here. Percentage history will give you a history of all current session. Log start will give you starting log of anywhere in the session. Log off will temporarily stop logging. Log on will restart logging. Log stop will fully stop the login and close the file. And ls magic is coming with give you current available magic function. The magic word will print the information about magic function system. Run will run the IPython as a program. File name means run. You can write a code. Hello print means hello world, and percentage run will run the file name. Percentage time will give you the time execution of Python statement or expression, how much time it takes to execute a statement. So let's do some coding now. Let me open the IPython console for you. So let me first clear the log here. As you can see that using clear command you can clear the editor. So now let's start our coding of basic commands. First of all, I have shown you how to use Python as an calculator. Now you can add two integer number. The output will be an integer. Similarly, you can add a floating point number with an integer and the output will be an floating point number. Now in order to show, I run these two commands in order to show you how to use the history command, the magic function, history magic function. I will just write percentage history, and on entering I will get the list of command which I have run before this on a concluding in this session. Once you close this console and reopen it, you can't get any history command. Okay, now let's see the ls magic function, percentage ls magic function, and it will give you a list of magic function available. These are the available line magic functions and these are the available style magic function. Auto magic is on, percentage prefix is not needed for line magic. So again, like without any percentage prefix, let me write history. Let's say it is working. So since the auto magic is on, you can manually by default it is on, you can make it off. The cell magic function is there. Now let's see the time function, percentage time. So which function? For example, I will write time, and let me see how much time it will take to print hello function, hello world, and here see, let me add some exclamation mark, and now let's just see how much time it is going to take to execute this print statement. Take 0 nanosecond time. It doesn't give you a CPU time, but in most of the case it will also give you CPU time. Let's now check history again. And you can see the another functions. Oh, sorry. There is I have added space in between this. See, one more thing I have forgotten to mention it, that Python is a case sensitive language. So be aware that a simple mistake of comma or space will give an error. So it also gives me time ls print and then this, then this, then this. So it has noted that Windows OS version of Python interpret does not list CPU time. Okay, this is Windows 1. If you are working on Linux console, you can see CPU time when percentage time has been represented. Some of the code output will be shown later in the next session. So guys, let's wind up our session here. In the next lecture, that is lecture 2 of Introduction to Python, we will work on data types. I will share this video notes related to this video as early as possible by today, and you can practice the code as per your convenience. Okay, thank you, take care, and have a happy learning time. Till then.